Did you just bring in a na? I was like, wow, that's cool. And it totally caught me off guard. I'm like in the middle of asterisks. You're talking
Yeah,
about that. So
asterisk.
DJ,
Love it.
can you friggin' believe it's Thursday already, brother?
I cannot, man.
Incredible.
I swear we
Today,
just woke up and it was Monday.
I know. Today's customer value journey. To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly. Jeff Dickinson back on top here. Jeff, good morning. David, good morning. James, good morning. Lisa, good morning. Morning, everybody.
Y'all.
Geez, I can't believe it's Thursday already. The sun is shining. It is beautiful. The weather's starting to turn up here in the north. DJ, how are you doing down there? Everything good?
Yeah, it's actually I went for a bike ride this morning because it was not bad. So I was like, all right, it's actually, I mean, it was a little bit cold, but not too bad. So it's getting better.
I'm dying to start my morning swims, like dying, and I just have because I'm the pool's still cloudy. Yeah. So like it's every day I'm out there and I'm like, come on, because I don't know, I don't want to swim in a cloudy pool. Not that I think a shark or something's gonna come. It's just like I want to when it's clear, it's clean, kind of thing, But oh man, I can't. I am dying to get out there in the morning. Just I can't wait.
Morning, Antoine. Morning, Richard.
That's the joy, like for Lisa and Chad, for example, who live in California, right? You go every morning and you can do that. Whereas it'd be tough on a block of ice here for a little bit. But
yeah, we're in the wrong place for that.
Yeah, exactly. So today's mission, customer value journey. For those of you involved in Inception, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but it's so important, DJ. Couple of years ago, probably close to a decade ago, I was always afraid to escalate customers, right? What if another department screws up? What if this happens? And then I flipped the switch. And it's funny because the flip switched one day where you ever been to seminars, like personal development seminars or these kind of things where it's like, but have you always loved them? See, I love the content, but I was always the person that was like, oh, here comes the pitch. Oh, I'll go to the conference.
Yes.
And at the end of the conference, they're going to try
and sell me
something. The
first couple I went to, I would say the first one, I had no idea. I was like, I'm in it. I'm like so excited. And then, like you're selling me.
It's like, if you want to go further, you got to pay $5,000, right?
Yeah.
So with that belief, it's very tough to escalate your life.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason I say that is this is if X information gets you to this point, then the next logical step is higher information, more development that gets you to the next step. Right. But it's like we love to buy, but we hate being sold to. And so this was my entire belief. Like every personal development thing, it's all a hoax. They're just trying to sell you something. I'm good with the content I paid for, with the information I paid for. And I for years I had this fictitious thought or process or perspective that they're just trying to sell me something, when really, now don't get me wrong, there are just like logistic sales professionals that are just out there for the buck. They're not actually out there to help their clients achieve X. But if you are, which all of our audience are, high performers looking to help their clients achieve results that they cannot achieve on their own, or that give them like tools, strategies, opportunities that they never think of because it's not their business. That's the way my brain changed when I realized that if you're here and you glean a bit of information that gets you here, if you glean more information, you can be here in a very short period of time, right?
Yes.
And so a mentor of mine about a decade ago said, well, what's your customer value journey? He said, Danny goes, you sell freight, you move freight from A to B, but what's the value journey? And I always thought, well, there is none. Like, how can I move the customer's freight? He goes, no. But how do you become of more value
Yes.
And more value and more value. I'm like, I have no idea. He goes, well, what's their goals? And I was, well, I have no idea. I'm just move freight.
I'm just
Right?
moving
Like, think
freight.
about it. Like, you
Yeah.
call up, you say, hey, do you got freight? You have any freight I can move? Or, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously not necessarily in that, but
Listen,
you know what I mean?
listen. Some of the brokerages teach just that. Hey, do you have any freight? Do you have any freight I can move? You have any freight? I can do it cheaper than everybody else. What the?
Yeah. So think of it like this, right? Let's run the rest of the show on the journey that your customer wants to deal with the least amount of people possible, meaning everybody they deal with has to be at the top of their game and know their stuff, right? Now,
Yep.
with the customer that has that one desire, the mandate is to streamline the information. The mandate is to get the best possible price without hindering service. And the mandate is to, for your customer individually, is to spend less time dealing with the bullshit. Okay, so let's just use those as the core like goals for the customer.
Yep.
So would it not make sense if you had multiple, okay, so again, smaller company, maybe you're a solopreneur, maybe you're just an agent and or just an agent, you're an agent and your company doesn't have multiple services. So I looked at that and I said, well, how do I connect with experts in their field? The Schnell Logistics for rail, Candor Expedite for expedited freight. Steve Ferreira for ocean. Like all of these people that are experts in their field, you now have a 5-star business. And what I mean by 5-star is over the road, air, intermodal, warehouse, customs.
All of it.
Right. Yeah. So you're covering all of the areas in freight.
Yep.
That's an escalation. And that's a customer value journey because you're sitting there and you're handling their freight, their OTR, LTL, truckload, whatever it is. And they're saying, you know what? Oh, I'm in such a pickle. We're using this warehouse and they're really not any good. I've got an expert in that field that has it. And not only that, we can streamline it because everything can run through me. I'll put 10% on it. I'll do a cost plus 10, 12%, whatever the case may be. Or we can just create an email address that has them on it as well if you want to just bill them direct. So, and again, you're becoming
Well, and
of
now you're
value.
becoming the all-in-one stop, but with the help of others. You're collaborating with
Exactly.
others to become,
Mm-hmm.
this power
Mm-hmm.
team.
Mm-hmm.
In BNI, so BNI, this business networking group, that's a big thing is power teams is what they call it. And it's because you all kind of can help the customer, the same customer, but in different ways. And
Yes.
so, yeah.
I mean, it's a big thing like when we talk with Mark Ridley, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yes,
how many times have we said, Mark is an extra tool in your tool belt that
Bingo.
not very many people think of. And this is where, as a professional sales rep, this is where the out of the box thinking that not very many people think of. Like, I'll be the first one to raise my hand. 26, 27 years. I never thought of connecting my customer or the CFO or anything in any company I've ever dealt with
Me neither.
with somebody that might be able to help them buy money better.
Yeah.
Like, never. I have a conversation with Mark and I'm like, holy crap. What a great, like, but seriously, you think of everything.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing. Like, holy shit, who can I ask? Who's changing money right now that's way overpaying that I could save?
Every company.
It's like, boom, went to that.
Yeah. And it's like, you have the conversation. It's like, holy crap, that's a great, and right when we had it, I was like, and this is going back almost 2 years now. I was like, Mark, you got to get on the podcast. He's like, sure, man. We got on the podcast. And I was like, every single this is before it was recorded, before we had the original morning show, before anything. I was like, every single sales rep needs to do this now.
Yes.
Needs to send a newsletter out to their customers and say, hey, listen, I don't know how you're buying money, but I found an expert in the field that can help you buy better.
Well, Dan,
you want to have a conversation.
Wouldn't you agree doing these extra steps, adding these extra people? I mean, this is when if you want to prove and build that relationship with your client, you want to take it to the next level. You're fixing a pain point that they know, or even better, if it doesn't directly benefit you at all, you're just like, hey, I see you're dealing with this. Here's this guy who can help you. And they're like, hold on, I didn't know you do that. No, I don't, but this guy does, and they'll help you. And they're like, holy shit. Like, he's helping
one
me.
word,
He's not
DJ.
even getting... What's that?
One word. What's the one word?
Help.
Resource.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
you are the resource
Yep.
for your customer.
Exactly.
Like that is the ultimate level to sit on in a company. The
Yeah.
ultimate level is resource. You know, I've had customers, I've been just a number. I've had customers where I've been an email address, right?
Mm.
We've all had them.
Oh
Everyone's had them.
yeah.
And I've had customers where they've said, "Hey, can you come in and let's brainstorm ways to move this freight better?"
Mm.
That's a resource. Now,
Yes.
I ask all of you watching, listening, whether it's right now, 9:12 a.m. on May 5th, or whether you're watching this on a replay or back in the podcast later on.
Yeah.
What would you rather do? Would you rather be an email address or just another person on a list? Or would you rather be that person when somebody calls and says, "Hey, listen, here's the complex situation. Can we brainstorm some strategies?"
Yes.
Like that's where everything lives. Like our creativity is the nucleus of why we love our jobs, why we love our careers, why we love what we do. Like it's the creativity, it's the completion, right?
Yes.
Like if we go back to construction, if we go back to anything, it's the completion where you can sit back and go, wow, like that, I was part of that,
Yes.
right? And it's so cool. This is why this industry is the best industry on the planet, hands down. I don't care what industry will come back and say my industry is better. It's bullshit. This
You're
is the
crazy.
best
You're
industry on
crazy.
the planet.
We make food end up crazy places. We make parts end up crazy places. We make everything end up
I
where you
know.
have no idea. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
insane. It is insane.
it's
Yeah,
like
I agree.
it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, and so for me,
It
it's
is.
been that. How do I create? And these value journeys, DJ, they're everywhere,
Mhm.
right? In every single company, there's a
Absolutely.
value journey. These are why companies buy other companies because it's creating that next level for their customers,
Yep.
right? Like if you look at any platform, why does Google buy all these companies? So Google was a search engine. Then what? Oh, well, video is going to do it. So we're going to buy YouTube for like, I think it was like the first $1 billion purchase from a social media thing. And now they're just, 43 billion or whatever
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
But it's like that next
Yep.
evolution, right?
Yeah.
For their customers to get to that next level. And this is what we as logistics reps do. And one of the big challenges is so I'll put this out there to everybody watching and listening. If you don't have an escalation plan for your customer, I think you're losing in today's economy.
Mm.
Big time, especially in today's economy. Like, what is the escalation plan? So, Q1, what was the major mission for your customers? If you didn't understand that, you're already at a deficit. You're
Yeah.
working backwards. And then what is the escalation plan? What is the objective to go? Is it, like, so I used to have a full-fledged, this is what happens when this happens plan for everything. So I would do 5 loads, and then I would go 5 loads to Better Business, 5 TBBB. And what I would do is I would say, okay, so how do we do? What do we do right? What do we do wrong? What can we improve on? And I'd go
Yeah.
from there. And then I'd go for a reference letter. That was
Always
the
temp.
first escalation. So now
Always temp
I'm
check, guys. Always temp check.
big temp check. I love that. And then so now I had within 5 loads, I had a reference letter. That was escalation one. Then what I would do is after a month or 20 loads, whatever came first, I would sit down with the customer and say, okay, over the last 20 loads, this is kind of what we noticed. This is what we saw.
Yeah.
Again, now,
Guys, if you're not doing that.
well, and then it's like, then now you have the relationship.
Yep.
They're saying, oh my gosh, this person, like, this isn't just moving freight.
It's not just freight.
This is a
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
And in business, like every other business, if you didn't get financials every month, you'd have no idea where your business is. If
Ah,
you didn't understand the money coming in versus the money going out, the sales, the next thing down the pipe, as an owner of a business, you're sitting there going, okay, what's in the pipeline?
yeah.
This is the same thing on your customer's end. What's in the pipeline? What are you expecting Q2 from volumes? What are you
Yeah. What's
expecting
gonna?
Q3 from volumes? Because this is the origin of everything that helps you support your relationships with your suppliers, support like all of it. So it's like now you're checking in, and I can guarantee you this: you'll be the only one of their suppliers checking in.
Yeah.
And then
I,
what happens then, DJ? All of a sudden, it's like this person's different.
Well, and they start to go to you when there's
Yeah.
problems. Now they know they're going to you. Even if they have other suppliers, they're going to you because you are always thinking of the next step. You're always
Hmm.
trying to figure out how to. Again, it's the only way that we can really getting into this industry, just like every other industry, I tried to figure out, okay, where can I build value? Because again, it's just freight, like you said. And most brokers, we were all just using load boards and the same suppliers for the most part. So what
Hmm.
is the difference? What is my actual difference? And that's was
I
the
love that you said
experience.
that.
So
I love that you said that.
what experience can I give them, and what can I bring that's different? That's actually going to help more than Joe Schmo calling saying the same moving the same freight. They could do the same
Hmm.
thing. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay,
Hmm.
well, it's the experience. I have to give them, and it's just again the journey, like you said,
Hmm.
like you're saying
Hmm.
that client journey and going and thinking above and beyond to next. What really is their pain point besides freight? Okay, we got their freight covered. Now what? What else? What's
Hmm.
next? What else do
Hmm.
you need?
Hmm.
And just those things, I mean, they're going to come to you every time. I mean, that was a big difference maker for me. It was like, hey, DJ's bothering me even when nothing's going on. What's going? And so there you go.
Hmm. And there's multiple ways and like to achieve this. I was going to say to skin this cat, and that's just so horrible. But there's multiple ways to achieve it. So
Correct.
I had one customer that would ship LTL out of California, and it was all bathroom vanities, and they would send it up to Canada, and we'd distribute it. Right. And when I first got involved, their big goal was to reduce costs because they're bringing it in from China, they're repackaging it, and they're bringing it up here and they're selling it in the big box stores, the Lowe's, the Home Depots, the Ronas, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they were saying, the process that they had when I got in was they were using a 3PL in the US that would bring it from California to Chicago. And then
Mm.
from Chicago, they'd disperse it. So what would happen is they'd load 12, 15 skids in California, bring it to Chicago. Then they'd pay 15 different custom charges. Right.
Oh,
So right
yeah.
there, I'm like, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll pool distribute it. We'll bring it right into Toronto. We'll get
Mm.
it distributed in Toronto because you're saving 35% just on the exchange. B, you have one customs clearance on a master invoice and we'll distribute it in Canada. So right there, there's that savings, right? That was part of what they were wanted to save. However, I didn't just stop there. After a month, I sat down with them and I said, listen, I think I have a way, if you're interested, to reduce your costs even more. And they said, well, what is it? And I said, your perfect pallet count, where your dollar value is the least per skid, is 8 pallets.
Mm.
So if possible, instead of sending 12 or 14
Yeah,
pallets,
do
can you
that.
do 2 shipments of 8? It's always team drivers leaving Monday, Wednesday, Friday, arriving Wednesday from Monday, arriving Friday from Wednesday. So if we go Monday and Wednesday, we ship. We're still in before the weekend, which means we're still distributed across Canada by Monday, Tuesday. So we are going from, and so their transit was originally like 16 days, and we got it down to 7 days to the door, 7 to 9 days to door across anywhere in Canada. So
Wow.
like it was to the point where when we first started doing this, um, customers would get their vanities, DJ, and then like 3 days later, they get an email from Home Depot saying your product is shipped, and they're like, "What? I already got it's installed." Man, like it was that fast of a turnaround.
Oh,
And so
it's
I sat down
crazy.
with the company at the end of the month, and I said, "And this is your like prime count." And they went, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." So what we did is I think it was like $47 a unit difference if they shipped 8 pallets, right? So
Oh,
now,
wow.
even though twice a week we added an extra $30 customs clearance charge, it's $47 a pallet. So we went
Yeah.
from crushing it from like 15, 16 different customs invoices down to one. So there's that
Nice.
savings.
Well, and
We
that's saving the
reduced the
time.
transit
That's
time.
saving. Yeah.
Yeah. So then what happened is and that was hey, here's what I've noticed. So they were like, holy shit, like, wow, like, I like that's thank you. And
Yeah.
that's the difference, right?
That's
And then there was
yes.
another customer where I escalated them through the value
That's how
journey
you
where
make a customer for life, though. Once you do that, then they're like, "Oh
mhm,
god." Brings up a good thing though. The value add is your value add is knowledge. Knowledge is price. Never undervalue what you know. Educate your customers. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that
And
really is
and I
the
would even
difference. If
add
you,
to that, Jeff, experimentation too.
mm,
Like, like looking at it and saying, okay, will this work? Like the customer, I went from road to rail. That was I mean, as much as it took like a month to create the SOP and everybody passed it, it was an experiment until that first load delivered and there wasn't 105 broken slabs because of violent shaking of, you know what I mean? Like it was an
Yeah.
experiment until it worked. And it was like, all right, this is reality.
This works.
But it's so true, so true. Jeff says, boom. And
There's the boom.
Damon's absolutely hit the nail on the head. People make the difference in every company.
Yes, sir. Business is just people in the end, y'all. I mean, that's
when
all
have
it
you
is.
ever done business with a logo?
No.
Right? Never. It's people.
It's people.
How many? So
whether
I
it's
just went
our
through this with a
coworkers
lead
or it's our
generation
clients,
company.
it's people.
Yeah.
It's people.
So I just went through this, DJ, and I told you about it with a lead generation company.
Yeah.
Right? I was having an issue, and I for lack of a better term, I set an ultimatum. After a week of getting what I felt was the runaround, I said, listen, by 3:00 today, I need answers or I'm just going to quit and I want my money back. And I got a text back from the VP of sales saying, don't give me an ultimatum. Well, guess what happened?
Yeah.
Cancel. Like, if any chance you had to make it better is gone. There are so many opportunities out there for other people. And then it was like, oh, sorry, man, I'm having a bad day. Don't care. Sorry. Like, I'm sorry. You don't give me an I've waited a week. I've been very patient. I've been waiting. You asked for the money. I gave you the money up front. Like, come on. This is what our customers go through. You're saying, hey, it's going to cost you $1,200. And I quoted you $1,200 for A, B, C, and D. And then you give them A and B. Don't be pissed off when they want C and D. Like it doesn't conceptually, it doesn't make sense. But how many times have we, especially early in our careers, gone, oh yeah, I'll meet that $1,100, and then the whole time you're going, that freaking damn customer wants everything for nothing. You agreed to the friggin' price, dude. Come on, man. Come on. We make the difference. Yes. Your customers don't deal with the company you deal with right now; they deal with you.
That's right.
Or your operations people, the people that make them feel good, the people that produce for them, the people that help them accomplish what they need to accomplish. Yes. Even if it's as simple as getting their product to market. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we got some good ones.
Yeah, here we go. We got some. That's the customer service. Only people can deliver a level of service. 100%. Jeff says, per what you said, Dan, about an experiment, a prospect just reached out to me yesterday out of the blue and opened up an old niche I'd forgotten. He wants me to find 110 hopper cars and move 20 million pounds of material. This will be the biggest opportunity. Yes, the biggest opportunity. And the key for that is challenge. It's going to be a challenge. But if Jeff, not if, because I know you will, because that's the type of person you are. When you pull that off, now you're talking. Lisa nailed it. Building the bridge. Oh, burned the bridge. Burn the bridge. Yeah, they burned the bridge. Exactly, Lisa. They burned the bridge.
They did for you.
That's key. 100%. And then Lisa's, yeah, absolutely. And Lisa said, didn't meet your expectations. So here's the thing. At least meeting, they didn't even get close to exceeding. Yeah. So here's the thing is, I would have, so what it was is in lead generation tools, I create lists, right? And the reason I create lists is because I don't want to duplicate my efforts with people. So, and because I sell on so many levels, like there's CEOs and there's VP of sales and there's shippers, because I keep my fingers in the freight market. And so I'm selling all these multiple levels. I'm helping different companies, fill trucks, do all this kind of stuff. So I've got so many things going on that end, ton of testing and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I got to be pretty organized or else things tend to fall apart pretty quick. Yeah. And I upgraded. Like, it's not like I changed anything. I upgraded my account to get more, and everything got lost. And so all I was like, the attempt and what I was trying to do was I was trying to get as much of it back. And here's the thing, and here's a lesson, and it actually taught me a lesson, because I'd kind of come in every day expecting to hear something, and I didn't hear anything. Never once did they say, I'm going to get back to you every day. But I expected it, because when I put out that kind of money, I expect some type of follow-up knowing, and again, and this is where I think perspectives, our customers have a perspective, you have a perspective, I have a perspective, our bosses, our managers, our truckers, our drivers, our ops, everybody has their own perspective, and that's their reality.
Yes.
My reality was I am losing a full day productivity every friggin' day when this isn't fixed. That's my reality,
Yeah.
right? I'm lying in bed at night going, I did not serve at the point I can serve, because I believe, and again, this goes back to me, I believe if I am not sharing the value of our courses, of our products and everything, I am not honoring my commitment to help as many people as I can.
Mm-hmm.
If I just sit back and don't have 10, 15, 20 conversations a day about how we can help salespeople achieve the highest results that they've ever been able to achieve, I'm not honoring my mission. That's my perspective. Some people might not think like that. They just be like, yeah, I'm going in, and if I make 4 sales calls today, great. If I serve some clients, if I move some freight, great. But that's my perspective.
Yeah.
And so they're not living up to the standards as to which I need
I have to
in
ask
order
you
to
this
do
though,
what I need to
Dan.
do.
If they would have either responded back or at least maybe because I know more of the inside and what you were trying to do,
Mhm.
the C and D they couldn't do. But if they would have maybe under promised and tried to over deliver more, like say, hey, I don't know if we could do this, but we're gonna see. Do you think you would have given them more of a chance or
So if they would have communicated more, for sure.
yeah,
Like, hey, Dan, listen, just an FYI, I connected with my dev team last night. Still
yeah,
no answers. I'm working on it. I'll get back to you again.
yeah. Yeah, I
Hey,
think
Dan,
I think they
I
just I
thought
think
of
they just
this.
couldn't do what they said they could do,
Well,
and they just
you
let
know what I think it was, DJ? Is it was the end of the month. They wanted that upgrade. I sat there for a good couple hours. I'm like, do I upgrade? Do I not? Maybe I'll just
right,
do it for another month and see, or maybe I'll try another platform. And it was like end of month. It was this, hey, listen, we'll give you
yeah,
this, and they gave me a killer price. And I was like, all right, well, I'll do it. And it was funny because as I'm hitting it, part of me said maybe I should back those lists up. So I
mm,
took some responsibility because I didn't keep the URLs of the lists. I
yeah,
think that would have helped because I could easily go back in, create a new list, go back in and put them all and just call it an old list. And anyone, you know what I mean? Like I had some
yeah,
things I could have done, but it
yeah,
was the lack of communication. It was the fact I would send a text and an email or just a text and I wouldn't hear back. So the
mm,
next day I'd say, what's going on? Oh, I spoke to and it's like, okay, no. So I know what was happening is
yeah,
as soon as my credit card was processed, I became just, that's it, a
yeah,
sale.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And that was what turned me off. And I think as we, and I'd love your guys' comments on this because
yeah. So guys, pay attention
I
to that
think, well,
because if
but
you're
I
getting
think
that
this
from your
is,
customer or you're getting some of these vibes, this is what you might be doing indirectly to your
yeah.
customer, and you have no idea.
And DJ also, as a high performer and somebody who serves, like, how do I serve? How do I serve? How do I serve? I
Yeah,
think we expect to be served that way a lot
correct,
of the time.
correct. Yeah.
And and share your thoughts because I'd love to hear from y'all. Like as you scale up your level of value in the market, do you expect more value and service to come back when you purchase things? I do.
Mm.
I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do. If I spend like this was $2,700. Like it's not like I went out and
Yeah,
bought a
yeah.
friggin'
It wasn't cheap.
cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? Like $2,700.
Yeah,
I expect some value from it. And I
yeah.
expect an ROI on that 2,700. And I think
Or at least
everybody
what they
does.
told you
And
it would do or could
yeah,
do.
and I mean, so normally I spend like 1,700 a year. So I said, okay, you know what? Like you're $80 a month or whatever for the next year. So I said, I'll up it. But it's like anything, right? Like Restream, this system we use right now, we
Yeah,
upped the
yeah,
value of it. We went up a tier in it because it gave us a few more functions. If those functions didn't work,
yeah,
what's the value? We're
yeah,
paying you for it. Why aren't we getting it back? Buzzsprout, our podcast network, we
yeah,
upped it because we had more volume of shows. What we're doing, we
yeah.
wanted to continue that, so we upped our program platform. If we upped it and they didn't give us those extra hours,
Would
right?
we?
Like
Yeah.
so,
Where's the
and
value?
and some people say, well, Dan, it's not really the same thing. It is the exact same friggin' thing because the value's not there.
Yeah.
And even and this is the difference, DJ, is it's not like I paid for a new feature. I was promised when I
Yeah.
upgraded,
Right, and you
nothing,
add, yeah,
I would be fine. I asked 3 times.
yeah,
because of how important that was. And I was told, yes, yes, yes. Now, it is digital, it's technology, it's a system. So things happen. I get that. I've been around long enough to know I've lost I've lost entire manuscripts from books I've written because of a glitch. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you doing on the back end to make, and this is the customer value journey part again. And I know it was a big circle back here, but what are you doing on the back end to help your customers achieve their goals? This is what this company did not do.
And are you promising to do things and not, and are you over promising things that you can't deliver? Don't. If you have any question of something you can't deliver, be honest. It's the easy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I experienced that early in my career of this, and I was just upfront with the guy. I mean, it was the first time I had a customer fall off, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Thank you for just being honest." I'm like, or I had a supplier fall off, and the truck broke, and I'm like, okay, I know, and I'm like fighting it, like, okay, I know myself, like, do I even believe this? But I just have to tell this person because it's last minute. I just have to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. And
Mm-hmm.
he thanked me up and down, like, I don't care. And I'm like, oh, they got it. But it was like, whew.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Mm-hmm.
was that you just don't ever overpromise and underdeliver.
Mm-hmm.
If anything,
Mm-hmm.
underpromise and overdeliver
Mm-hmm.
always.
Richard says it right. He goes, it's cliche, but if you don't take care of your customers, somebody else will.
Ah,
100%. And
yes.
how they
Amen,
responded,
Richard.
didn't make you feel like they cared about you and your needs. Exactly. And Lisa, you bring up a great point here is every time you respond to a customer, every time you try to solve a challenge, are you putting it and making them feel like you care about their needs? Right?
That's more
That's
sometimes that's
huge.
more important than what you're actually doing.
Hmm. And Damon's right. We should expect a reasonable level of service, and we should expect to be valued. And your customers expect it as well. They
Yes, they
really
do.
do. And this is the thing, right? We
Everybody
sit there and we
does,
say,
dude.
remember when you first started in the industry, DJ, how hungry you were?
Oh
Like
man.
you would do whatever
Oh
it
man.
took
Yeah.
to serve a customer,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And now, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
Maybe people don't. Maybe people are like, well, we've had the customer for 15 years. We're great friends.
Yeah.
There's always that hungry person right on your tail,
That's right.
right on your tail.
Right.
And if you don't operate daily with that understanding, you will see that difference.
Yes.
And then Lisa says, DJ, exactly it when you specifically ask for something and then they under deliver. Absolutely. Jeff says, uncovering their hidden bank, how to do this research, more research, know their business.
Mr. Research.
You know,
Yes, sir.
Jeff, it's funny you say that. So yesterday in Inception, I gave a lesson on my 6 core pillars. Right. So my first 4 core pillars of my business when I was in logistics was I didn't want one customer more than 15% of my business. Clarity on all parts of their business. That's
Yeah.
exactly what Jeff's talking about. Knowing their
Yes.
business,
Knowledge is
exactly
power. I
what it
think Jeff
is
said
they
that
need.
earlier too, but
Hmm.
knowledge is power, guys. I mean, knowledge is
Yeah.
it's
Nerf
everything.
says I'm late. It's all good, Nerf, man. That's why we have my bag. I said, oh, good, brother. We got
Oh,
apologizing
Nerf.
for being late. Nerf, I
You're
don't
all
care what
good.
DJ says. Awesome, brother. So, so DJ, what do you got?
Yes.
Actually, before we go there, I hope this session was of value to everybody. I hope it got y'all thinking about that customer value journey. What's the next step? And here's the thing, guys. I'll say this and then I'll shut up because I feel like I've
Oh, you're
done
good.
most of
You're
the
good.
talking today, DJ, and I
You're good.
apologize, but um, always know what the next step is. Like,
Yes.
here's the big thing. If you look at goal setting just in general, right? How many people achieve one goal and then kind of fall flat? And it's because as they're approaching that one goal or as they achieve that first goal, they never create a second and third goal. They're like, oh my God, that goal setting stuff worked.
Yeah.
Sweet. Hey, what do
Sweet.
you want to do today? And it's just right. And it's like, okay, what's the first step? What's the second step? What's the third step? And if you have a customer value journey or a value ladder, some people call it, you say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to start here on LTL. Then what I want to do is I want to do their pool distribution. Then I want to talk to them about their warehousing. Then I want to talk to them about their ocean. Then I want to talk to them. And you have this map, this route that you're going with your customers all of your communication is on point. Every single piece of action you take is on point because it's focused on the next step. Like if you got in your car and you didn't know where you wanted to go, every single time you hit a point, you'd have to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your driveway.
Good point.
Do I go left or right? As soon as you get to the end of that street, do I go left or right? As soon as you get to the end of that street, do I go left or right? You have no idea. So you're always making these decisions. But if you say, I'm going to the grocery store and you know the grocery store is south, you know when you pull out of your driveway, you're going right.
Yep.
You know when you get to the road, the next road, you're going left. You know you're taking that all the way down until the next right. Then you're going right. Then you go left and there's the grocery store. Right? You know that route because your destination is at the end. So this is the big, and I know it sounds so, oh, here we go, using a GPS theory again, but it's so true that,
it really is, though.
If a plane was on a runway and they said, hey, where we're going, I don't know. How do they know which runway to take off from?
Yeah.
How do they know where to turn in the air? Yeah. How do they know where to land? How do they know how much fuel they need? Like all of these things are critical to our business, to our careers, to designing that life that we want. And that's the nucleus of everything, that life we want. Right? Yes. That's why my third pillar was like-minded clients. And then my fourth pillar was my schedule. Right? Those are my 4 core pillars. And then I did lessons with every interaction. And I don't put off today what I never put off today, things that I can do to make today so good. Yesterday gets jealous. So I thought I'd add that in, brother.
Thank you.
Nerf said, don't put all your eggs in one basket here. That's why I have one egg hanging out of the basket, if you know what I mean.
Oh, Nerf. Nerf cracks me up. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Nerf, are you still paying $25,000 for freight when everybody else is paying $15,000? I have to know.
Oh, stop it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. What? Oh, man. He just added another comment. I got to know.
Did he?
I'm reading it.
Bro, I would be the worst pilot to be cutting planes off on the runway, flipping other pilots off, flying with the window open, making U-turns when I miss a landing. Bro, I would have like 9 violations per flight. You know what? For some reason, I totally believe him.
Nerf, you're the best. Thank you for coming in late, Nerf. Thank you, everybody. Jeff took the top spot. Maybe Friday, Lisa gets it back. But thank you, everybody, again.
We're gonna have to keep a running tally on this, eh?
Our morning people. I know. Thank you, everybody, for joining us daily here, 9 a.m. till 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to Daman and American Logistics Centurion Trucking for making this possible. Again, Sales Chatter Live or Dan Deegan, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the little bell, follow us, subscribe, do all of those fun, cool things. And I've been listening to some. If anybody knows Alex Hermosi, Mosey Nason, shout out. But Albert Ellis, he is some of his teaching. I don't know if you know this guy, Dan, but Albert Ellis is a smart dude. And he has some really cool strategies. But so I took a quote from him. Happiness is experienced largely in striving towards a goal, not in having attained things, because our nature is always to want to go on to the next endeavor. We're always adapting, y'all. Keep adapting.